Welcome, everybody, to another session of Quick Fix Golf, where you have your online webinars with information you wouldn't get anywhere else, or maybe you don't even want the information we have, but you're going to get it anyway. And my partner in crime and whatever is Jim Mason. Hey, Jim, you're on the line there?
Hey, Bob. How's everybody this evening?
Oh, man. We're going to have a good time tonight because we've got a special guest. We've got Colin McLean from Checkpoint Golf Systems that has invented a dynamite putter system, of which I have purchased one to use in the one-day school. So you're going to get a chance to see it. And I would, not to make this sound like a sales pitch, but as you see this, you might want to consider getting one for yourself, I'm telling you, because you hit more shots with your putter than any other club in the bag, don't you? So
Absolutely.
Colin, welcome to the show. And Colin, are you, with a name like Colin, is it Scottish or British or what is it?
It's Scottish. First name in Latin, Colin McLean. You can't get much more Scottish than that.
Well, I tell you, I played in Dublin, Scotland, when I used to play on the European Tour. Nicest people in the world.
Yeah, they do have a lot of fun, and their haggis and beer.
Oh no, Dublin, Ireland. That was Ireland. It was Carnoustie. Was
Dublin's in Ireland.
Yeah. Carnoustie was in that's near Edinburgh or something like that, isn't it?
Possibly. I'm not that familiar with Scotland at the moment.
Really, Jim? Why did you bring this up? Now you're making me look like a jackass here because I don't.
I didn't bring it up either.
Anyway, we appreciate what you've done. So now, one thing right here, you've never seen a picture of Jim and I.
I have not.
No, and we got your picture to be able to put it here so people could see what you look like. Because, you know, that's one thing about these webinars. They can't see it. That's my picture right there.
Can't wait to see mine.
And then here's Jim Mason. Did you have on the line right there? Director of golf at Pendleton Golf Club. Of course, he's a big staff professional. And that's about how he looks first thing in the morning on a Sunday after a hard Saturday play, right? And, of course, we had to have your picture up there. We wanted to get somebody that looks like a real inventor, you know?
I've never looked so glamorous.
Now, Quick Fix Golf, what are we all about? We're actually like a game improvement club, and we do everything from the video analysis to encores to course strategy to psychology of golf, which is just grab another beer and hit it and be happy. So let's move on here. Oh, we're brought to you tonight by Jim. Why don't you tell them who Pendleton Golf Club is?
Well, Pendleton Golf, it's like playing golf in Scotland without the cost of the airfare.
There you go. Now Colin doesn't have to spend all that money flying over there.
There you go.
Just come to Pendleton.
Exactly.
Conveniently located right off I-95 in beautiful Ladysmith, Virginia.
Convenient for you. He's in Canada.
Yes. So.
Patterson Sports Park, where we hang out sometimes, giving a lot of the lessons. That's where I was today. And let's move right along. Here it is. Checkpoint Golf Systems. Go ahead, Colin. Tell us what we're looking at here and tell me when to press the button.
All right, sure thing, Bobby. Thanks a lot. In a nutshell, a couple of years ago, I got this very stupid idea that I could play in the senior tour. So I got myself a coach and did 6 months of practice and found myself, well, that's delusions of grandeur that isn't going to work. But what I really discovered when I took golf seriously was that there was what I would call gaps. And the gaps that I found were that, especially around putting, there wasn't any sort of program or methodology, at least that my coach was able to. And in fact, the thing that got me pretty annoyed with him, and I fired him, was basically, in a nutshell, we were practicing putting one day, and I putt past the cup. And he goes, that's your 16-foot putt. You have to learn that putt. And I said, well, how? And he says, well, just practice it. He had no method. He had no answer to me. He had, like, no decision methodology to say, hey, Colin, you do it this way. So I took it upon myself, as, you know, need is the mother of invention, to come up with some ideas that would actually progress a person through putting from the position of not knowing how to putt right on through to hopefully becoming an expert. And I put together two types of products. One on the left here is the X36 Pro Putt Trainer, and the one on the right is the Perfect two-putt. And in a nutshell, I put the two together to make a progressive putting program. So you can go next. Okay, so let's talk about how amateur golfers and how they practice. And in a nutshell, from my perspective anyways, you have it where everyone's on the range. And we understand the industry's slanted that way. They want to sell the clubs. They want to get you out there. It is the biggest part of the industry. No two ways about it. But is it the right part of the industry that we need to concentrate on to score better? So if you look at these two pictures, you have one that's really busy with the range, and then the golfers who are putting on the practice putting area. Number one, there's very few of them. And then number two, do they look to be putting with any sort of purpose? And what I mean by purpose is there sort of a method to what they're going to do. Next.
Well, Kyle, listen, we think the same way you do right here. In fact, I carry a gun in my golf bag, and I've never had to use it on the putting green.
Yeah.
Hey, you get the hell out of that way. Bang! I want to
agree
practice now. No, we've never had to fight for the putting green when we do the one-day school. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Go ahead, keep going. You're doing it.
And this is what's pretty funny here. This is actually, if you can imagine this is before a tournament. And to me, it just looks like what's going on. I make a little joke down here. I don't see anybody with any sort of tutelage here. There's no gear on the physical putting green. I don't see any coaches scoring. I don't see any sort of progressions. I just see everyone hitting to one spot or walking around. And it's almost like whack-a-mole. Literally, they're just over there going whack, 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 and I really don't see any sort of position where they're actually doing something of value. You've got someone's put a tee in. I don't see any ladder drills. I don't see anything going on. I certainly don't see any circle drills. There's not much happening.
I see one happening right now. Can you see what I'm drawing on here?
I
drawn a line to this blonde, and I said, muy bueno. I'll putt with her for a while. Can I do that?
You have way too much fun. This is going to be great. Next.
Okay. Wait a minute. Where are we going? All right, here we go. Wait a minute. Come on. What does it matter with this thing? Oh, Motto, look what you did, Colin.
Oh, I don't know. I think it was your drawing. Young man.
Take it off the pointer.
Oh, there it is. Thanks, Jim. You're the man. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's just wait. You know this, like the people that are watching the webinar, you know all this stuff, but it's nice sometimes to get it reinforced. So that begs the question is, where is scoring actually done? So first of all, is it in the tee box? Well, 99% of the time, no, unless it's a par 3 and you get a hole in one. Not very often. Same with the fairway. Are you scoring from your fairway wood shot? You know, realistically, in your approach shots, really no. Sand trap shots on occasion, but if you're shooting a sand trap from 150 yards from a fairway bunker, you're not scoring. And again, with a recovery shot off the green, you're 26 yards out, you're pitching up. If it goes, that's just chance. Okay, obviously that's just luck. But here, where does it really happen? And obviously, scoring happens on the green with a putter, and that's it. And what I'd like to do is emphasize is show you in black and white the breakdown of a 72-hole course, what the shot sheet should look like.
There you go.
So on a par 72 design golf course, these are the expectations of your shots. So if we go over for the par 3s, the holes on the course are 4, tee shot with a driver, 0, tee shot with an iron, 4. Okay, that could be anywhere from a 5 iron maybe to an 8 or anything in between.
Right.
No fairway, no approach, and you get 8 putts. Okay, the par 4 line. Holes on a course, you get 10. Tee shots with a driver, 10. Tee shot iron, 0. Fairway wood, 0. Approach shot, 10. And you get 20 putts.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You said you don't get to use a fairway wood on a par 4?
Well, generally speaking, I would use an iron.
You haven't played with Jim.
You got that right.
I'm only teasing, partner.
I used to call it an actual sort of deep hit here. So my average drive is anywhere between 235 and 260. Good day, it's longer. Bad day, it's shorter. But I'm always into the approach shot, and this is where I'll get to in the future. I want to talk about this. What clubs are we actually practicing with? What's important to understand? What's in our bag, and how often we use a particular club? So let's just move on. On the par 5s now, 4, tee shot 4, fairway wood 4, approach shot 4, 8 on the actual putts. So now you get 36 putts. And you guys know this. Everyone knows this. But you get 14 approach shots and 4 fairway wood shots and 14 tee shots. Now, 14 tee shots, generally speaking, that's your driver, so that's one club. Tee shot with an iron, obviously there's selections there. Fairway wood, there's usually 2. And your approach shot, well, that can be a myriad. Well, let's go to the next one. Let's talk about something here.
This is good stuff, Colin. You've done a real good job with this.
Thank you. This is a scorecard that I put together for my training. Before, when I said I was going to be, well, I'm not going to be. But this card to me was very, very important. And it's going to be made available to persons that get in the program on a serious basis, that they can have this. And this is how it goes over. If you could move your mouse pointer over to where it says...
Where it says what?
This is where I have number 1, 545, number
right,
2.
Okay, I see it right there.
There. So there's a space there that you would hand write that. Okay, so
right
that's where you have that area. You got it, right? So this is number 1, 545. So you take the card that you're at the golf course with, and you're just going to quickly write this out. So the first hole is a 545, number 2, 409, number 3, 425, and then you just write down the par, 54435. Then your total is next. Okay, now how the card works from there to the right is this: the tee shot is a driver because it's a par 5.
Right.
And it's a the R means was I in the green or in the fairway in regulation. So that's where there's a little mark there. It could be a 1 or a check mark, could be an X, whatever you want. It's just to indicate where you in the fairway in regulation. The next shot was a 3-wood. Okay, and so at this point, my next shot would be my approach shot, which is a 52-degree wedge. Was I on the green in regulation? Is yes, it's got that little mark indicator there, but I 3-putted. Okay, so I have a total 6. So the next one, the next hole is a number 2, it's 409, it's a par 4. I got a par on it. My drive was in the fairway in regulation. I 8-iron on the green in regulation, 2-putt for a par. The next hole, this is where you start to really break down which clubs you use. This is to tell you what clubs you use when you golf. You have 14 of them. I never use 14 clubs in any round of golf I've ever played. Or very strong and methodical, what I do use a lot. And for me, it's my driver and an 8-iron. And my driver, 8-iron, and wedges. That's where I play most of my game, because most of my par 4s are in that way for me. So the next one, par 3, so the third hole, par 4, the total was a 5, so I get a bogey. Drive, was I in the fairway in regulation? No, it's blank. So I go down to 8. Was I on the green in regulation? It's blank, so that's no. So it's an 8 and a pitching wedge. So I did an 8 and a P. I 2-putted for a 5. So right away on the second hole I used an 8-iron. On the third hole I used an 8-iron. So now I go to the par 3, total par 3. I tee shot with a 7-iron. I was on in regulation, 2-putted for a par. And this will be the last one for the example. So now we go to the fifth hole, par 5. I shoot a 7. Well, why did I shoot a 7? My drive was not in the fairway in regulation, so I'm out of bounds there or in difficulty. The fairway wood was a 5-wood. And my next shot was, the approach shot is a gap wedge. Okay. Did I get on the green in regulation? No, it's blank. Then I had to use my sand wedge. Obviously, I got in a bunker. And then I was on the green, and I 3-putted. So this tells you right away, I'm using a 52-degree wedge, an 8-iron, an 8-iron, a pitching wedge, a gap wedge, a sand wedge. So why am I practicing with 6, 7, 9s, and a long iron like a 3 and a 4 and a 5 a lot? And I'm not saying you don't practice those. What I'm saying is that you have to understand which clubs you use most often on the golf course and practice to that discipline. That's the critical part. So it's not just putting, but it's understanding what clubs in your bag you actually use when you play a round of golf. Not what your buddy plays, but how do you play the game of golf?
You know what else this shows?
Sure.
Here's why you didn't make it the senior tour. You fly over the first 5 holes.
I had a desire. I just didn't have the skill.
You got to have thick skin to hang around us, I'm telling you. Well, at least we know you put the real numbers on. You weren't jiving us.
Yes, this was my last card before the end of the season.
Might be the last card before the end of your life.
Well, there. You get the idea here. It's really critical you know what clubs you play with when you play.
This is the next. Jim, you have that other card that you have. Is it somewhat like this one?
It's similar, but basically it's just telling you, whether you're hitting the fairway, greens, regulation, whether you're getting up and down. It's basically just a stat to keep your stats for the round.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's a nice card. I like this. And you're right. I always tell people, I say, if you look in the bag of a really, really, really good player, you'll see a lot of wear on the sole of their pitching wedge, 9-iron, and 8-iron. Mm-hmm. That's the sticks they're hitting. That's what they're practicing with the most.
Exactly. And I often will re-grip my 8-iron in a single season. So, I'll go through, half my season and then put a new grip on it and keep going.
Wow.
Because I just use that club so much.
Okay, let's get back to the next one. Okay.
Yep. So one of the reasons that we believe that people have often just sort of ignored putting is because when they were first taught putting, they weren't shown how to play golf. They weren't shown how to putt. As most golfers get into the game, they're taught how to play from a relative or a family member. Okay? And the family member says, okay, let's go. I'll show you how to do the grip. And then at that point, I'll show you how to do a swing. So now they go and hit the ball. Okay, so they've had 100 swings, and the friend says, hey, let's go. You're great. Let's go play. Well, they only got taught half the game. And so they never got the father, the son, the friend never took him to the green. So if you're not going to the green to be shown how to putt, generally speaking, it's not in your wavelength. You're not sort of, when you're first indoctrinated into the sport, you weren't given both halves of the coin sort of thing. You're only talked about and shown swinging. So seldom is the golfer ever shown how to putt. So when they get on the course, they just do it, and they say, oh, you'll get better at it as you practice. Well, they never actually go practice. Their practice turns out to be, especially as you're amateur at the beginning, only on your playing day. And of course, that's not where you want it to be. So my biggest problem was trying to solve a situation that says, I don't know how to putt. I don't have all the tools. I don't want to count off 30 yards. My 30 yards is different from Jim's. It's going to be different from Bobby's. All these things are variances. So we have to flatline it and make it not variable. So we wanted to make it straightforward. Let's go to the next one. So knowing how to practice putting is what we do. This is where I spent the last 2 years designing the program. So the amateur golfer could be self-directed training. So golfers today know about self-directed training because they go get a bucket of balls, they grab their 5-iron or their driver, and they go and practice. That is self-directed training. So they're familiar with that process. They're just not taking it to the putting green. So that's what we wanted to do. So we developed a 2-step putting program that puts the short game and the long game together. So we have the short putts and the long step putts. There's a 7-step putting progress methodology we put to addressing the mechanics, speed, and distance control. And we supplied a program that literally steps you through each drill and actually gives you frequency and repetition on how you should do something and how often. And then the last thing we provided with you is scoring. Because this methodology and this program is product driven and each drill sets up the same every time, you can now score it. And you can do baselines. And these will allow you to motivate yourself. Obviously, you improve. You always want to better your personal.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Bob, are you still there?
I'm here. Keep going.
Anyway, so if you go to the next slide, please.
Whoops.
No problem.
Is that it? That's the last slide.
That's a slide. Okay, great. So let's go over to the website now.
What's your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take them over there, and we'll talk a bit about the products themselves, and give them a quick demo of what's over there.
Oh, somebody's asking a question here. Oh, Georgie French. Okay, now I might have fixed it. I hope.
Yeah, I got that's why I said, are you still there? I got in my earpiece, someone said the session was just starting now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We've got it recorded. They were seeing it, but they couldn't catch all the action. You just keep going because we'll have this. Yep. Let's see. We're going to go to your website.
Yeah, it's proputtingpractice.com. And we.
Oops, I did misspell it.
Yeah. There we go. There you go.
Excellent.
Okay, great. So if we could, let's just start with the X36 Pro Putt Trainer. But what I want to go first is to the instructors and coaches, because there's a little more information there. Okay, so we just scroll down to the first photo on the page here. Oops.
That one right there?
No, next one up.
There you go.
There we go. Yep. Now we call this the putting mechanics circle. And this is the beginning of the process that we're going to put amateur golfers through to start them off. Now, we all know about the under the line drill. We've seen the pencil either end with a string on it. And what you do is you put the ball under there to allow you to actually see the ball cut in half. And your idea is to present yourself to the ball when it's under the string and get your stance and your pre-putt routine correct. So that's what the under the line drill is. And it's been around for many, many years. And the biggest breakthrough, in my opinion, is the groove your stroke, the next one. And if you'll slide down to the next photograph here, I'll go show you what this is about.
All right.
This one here, the groove your stroke. What we've done here is that if you look at the bottom right-hand corner of that photograph,
right,
the two tethers are very close together. So we've made a very narrow lane. And what you can do now is that when you're working with a Jim or a Bobby Lopez, you'll have those cords quite close together. And when you're working with a first-timer or someone's not as proficient, the cords are a little wider apart. And what you're actually doing is you're drawing the path of the putter back and following through. And in this example here, you can see that the black cord on the heel of the putter is pulling towards you. So that's a pull in the follow-through. So for the first time, you're actually going to get stroke path mechanics. Now, a lot of instructors and people have talked about this for years, but there's never been a simple way to do it. There have been single products that have done it before that have been quite expensive and even quite large. But this is a simple tethered system with two cords that go together to give you a narrow pathway or a wide one. You can do it for an arc, or you can do a traditional straight back, and you can work this way through to understand your putting path. And that's huge, because so many people don't know how their stroke is. They don't know if they're straight back, or they off center, are they following through correctly or not. All these things will be identified when you're using this product in this fashion. So
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Let's go back up to the next one.
If you don't mind me asking you a question here, Jim, I don't know if you have one you want to jump in, but how would you get the arc path? Are you able to change that string around this way, or?
The lower string stays constant, and then you move the string to the right further out. And what's going to happen is you're going to want to watch the natural path without a second string, and then you're going to bring in the outer string closer in. So if he hits it on the way through, you'll see it from the back. You'll have a draw around that you hit the back end of the first string. You go further forward. Remember, we're making a width here. So if it was a narrow arc or 3 inches, you move the spike out 3 inches so you know how far the arc is. If he's going too far progression or too close in, you as the actual instructor from behind will see the path and you'll utilize that. Then secondly, is the arc finishing centered or followed through? By going right across through the arc now, think of where that putter is, that face of that putter is 12 o'clock on the clock. So if he goes through all the way around to 9 o'clock, which is where the heel would be, is he pushing through, is he following through correctly straight, or is he pulling down and around through the arc? So you can play with this and get it through the path that you're going to want for an arc putt.
Dynamite, dynamite. Okay, you want this picture now?
Yeah, please, great. So the first, we do the under the line drill. That's your pre-putt routine. It's going to stance you, get you organized over the ball, and get your hips and shoulders and arms. Doesn't matter the arm position for us. It's all about your comfort level because you're going to get your stroke the way you want it. Secondly, you go to the groove your stroke, which is the putting path. The gate drill is very traditional. Normally you'd had 2 T's down there or something to that effect. And the idea there is you're going to hit the ball in the center of the club face. And you do that with the gate drill. We've used that before. And then traditionally the lane drill. The lane drill is the follow through. This is our beginning step. This is step 4 of the protocol. And this is the beginning inertia to get reinforcement of assisted to unassisted. So you can putt with the ball inside the lane. So you can see how your path is going without too much assistance, but you still guide lines because you're in the lane. And then the one I like outside this is where you take the ball outside the entrance of the lane by maybe 18 inches and you putt into the lane. So then you get to see true travel of the ball path and the stroke with it. As an instructor, when you're standing behind that person and looking at the putter head and path, it's a beautiful visual and you can really help your student correct.
Hey, this is dynamite. I really like this. All right, what do you think, Jim? How do you like it from your?
No, I think it's awesome. It's great visual for somebody who's especially just learning to putt.
Okay, so this is where I like what I call the assisted to unassisted, and what it really boils down to is reinforcement. Okay, now this person here is putting under the tether at this point. So they would, after they putt under the tether, so they've had the pre-putt routine, they're over the ball, they've set up properly. You can see here he's now in the follow-through of this stroke. He would then walk forward to that ball in front of him that doesn't have a tether support. So now he putts without any support whatsoever. There's no assistance now. He's on his own. Then he'll walk to the next putt, which is with the tether. Then he putts without the tether, then with and without and with and without. So this is a reinforcement of the mechanics. And it's really good, again, as from an instructor-led position, is that you'll watch and see if he has any bad traits or issues with the stroke path. And if he does, you can take that person back to the putting mechanic wheel and use one of those drills to reinforce what you're trying to convey to that putter, then have him come back to this to do with insistence, then without, and back and forth.
Okay, hold on. We got Georgie's got a question here. Yeah, Georgie, can you see everything now?
Yeah, I can see everything.
My fault. Go ahead. What's your question, partner?
Oh, no, I had my hand up because I couldn't see or hear anything before.
Okay, well, we got it straight now then, right? All right, partner. Are you enjoying this or what? What do you think of this?
Actually, I went on it last week after you said you were going to have this on this week. Because I wanted to see what it was like, and I think it's a pretty good deal.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You know that, and this is the thing, Colin. What we press a lot in our one-day school is 6-footers and 25-footers, 6-footers and 25-footers. 4-footers, 40-footers, 4-footers, 40-footers. Don't worry about the putts in between. Don't waste your time even putting 10-foot putts because you're either practicing club face control or you're practicing pace. Club face control, pace. Club face control, pace. Those are the two factors. If you can't control the putter face on a 6-foot putt, you're not going to make it. If you can't control or you can't swing the putter at the right amount of force to move the ball a specific distance over a given surface, you're going to 3-jack it a lot. So it's try not to 3-putt and make all the 6-footers an in. That's sort of the strategy that we stick with.
Well, the perfect 2-putt helps you with your long putts then, and we'll get to that in a moment to show you how you're shooting into the grill. Yeah,
that's the other thing I really liked about that. I mean, this is really good. I tell you what, if the guys listening into that, if you take something like this and you actually use it, if you're playing golf, 3 times a week, play twice a week and take one day and practice all day. I mean, you'd be surprised how much better you get if you practice for about 6 hours straight. You'd be shocked.
Or not only that, or did it this way, as a balance to that would be, let's say you're going to the range, well, don't practice with 9 clubs. With that scorecard we were using earlier, I know I need to practice my 8-iron because I hit it the most and my driver, and then maybe I only hit one other iron, then that leaves me 20 or 25 minutes to go practice the putting. So I use the same time, but more wisely, because in my opinion, you're not wasting time on clubs you don't use as often. So you want to balance your training that way if you only have a limited amount of time.
Well, if you were trying to get on the senior tour, how many hours did you practice in a given day?
Well, I had a regular job, so I didn't do it that way per se.
What'd you do that for?
I was getting 10 hours. And I would do 2 hours of training with the coach, and then I went away, 2 weeks of training with the coach, and then I went away 2 weeks by myself to practice, to get reinforcement, because I can't learn something new all the time. You've got to be showing something, showing it again, showing it a third time, walk away to it yourself, get a certain amount of proficiency, come back and get protection and correction, and take it to the next level. So you've always got to reinforce and come back and forth. You never just have one instruction. Like, you never just have one lesson. If you're going to improve, you get lessons, and you do a reinforcement method, and you've got to come back, because doing it once is, don't waste your money.
Hey, Jim, can you imagine as serious as Colin sounds right here? Because he's doing a great job. Colin, you're a riot. We really enjoy meeting you. And as serious as he is, and he wants to play so bad, I'm sitting in the cart there smoking a cigar, and I say, yeah, go ahead, hit it. Yeah, it looks good. Go ahead. Another one. Yeah, hey, tell you what, they're hiring an H&R Block. I'd go over there. How are you?
Okay, so what I'm really excited about here is...
Go ahead.
You guys are picking on me now. Let's just move on. Okay.
No, this is fantastic. I wish I would have had something like this when I was a kid.
Yeah. Can you scroll up one photograph for me?
Sure. One more. This way or that way?
Yeah, right here. Okay,
right
so we were at the we were doing enforcement to reinforcement, so we were putting with the tether, then without.
Right.
Now this is the circle drill, It doesn't look like a circle drill because you have balls in different positions now. But now that we have measured distances, you can now make up different patterns for the circle drill. So for my, if it's always static and repeatable, it's not good. I want to have movement, I want to have dynamics, I want to have change. So now with this product, I could give you half a wheel of 6-footers, half a wheel of 3-footers. I could give you 3 5-footers and 6. I could go 6-3, 6-3, 6-3 like this pattern. We can do all sorts of things, but it's in the criticality of what Bobby and Jim want you guys to do, which is this 6 and 3-foot range, you got to own it. It's yours.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't make it static, make it dynamic, and that's what we can do with the variances now.
Look at this. Now you'll see this. This is an old drill we had. It's in our members section where the members can get to it. And guys don't realize that, you know, there's plenty of guys on the road that would hit 150 short putts a day easy. Just short putts.
Yep.
Just so 6 feet and in. I mean, you've got to own 6 feet and in, like you said. I mean, if you can't own that, you're toast anyway. So you might as well go get a job in the insurance business, because you're not going to make any money on the road if you can't make a good percentage of the 6-footers.
Oh, great.
Watch this. We're going to go over here. We're going to go to our. You're going to laugh because when you look, see, yours is so much better in the sense that it's well organized for somebody to do. Here we go to the drills library, and you're going to see that the drill that we give our folks to do on putting is identical to your machine. There you go. Yep. There's one, and now watch what I'm going to do. You won't be able to hear the video, but let me just move it up some, and you'll see how those balls are going to change. I say this is, you know, how some people would do it in an actual circle, but what I do, let me see if I can, hold on here. Let me see if I can move it. There you go. There you go. You see, so I took the balls instead of a perfect circle. I got them all different distances. That's how I practiced all the time.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, either way, what you're trying to do is get different dynamics. So it's not always static, not always the same stroke.
You don't always get the same putt every hole.
Exactly, right. Well, you never get it once. Twice. There's never an identical putt.
Exactly. So that's but that's why this right here really interests me. I don't know about you, Jim. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it's great. It'd be a great tool to have.
And then let's go to the next one. So now this is the S drill. Now, Bob, you just said something that you just said that I have to disagree with a little bit, which was that you don't get outside those 10-footers, okay? And my context is this, is that when you're putting from a GUR, which is greens and regulations for amateurs, and they're on the green in GURs, they're 34 to 36 feet away from the pin. That's their first putt. And often because they don't practice putting enough, they often leave that first putt very, very short. So I'm talking about the amateur now.
Right.
So this product now avails them to learn about the individual distances. So we're going from 12 to 9 is 3, to 6 is 3, to 3 is 3.
So
we're getting a 3-foot dynamic in between each putting length. And as you reinforce this, when you start getting very close with 9s and 6s, a constant, and you're getting it because each time you do it, it's a different stroke, and you can change. This is just one pattern. When you have these 4 chords, there's multiple patterns you can do, like 2 12s, 2 9s, 2 6s, 2 3s, and all sorts of different integrations you could do. But the bottom line here, this path, this capability here, allows you to learn about weight, distance, speed, and the variances that are always 3 foot. So if those variances are constant, then you can learn your stroke strength and what you need to do in the putting path, and obviously the club face contact, all that comes with it. But this type of dynamic, when you start really using this type of drill, you're going to find that it's just, those 6-footers start to become easy. That's what I'm leading up to. Because 12 and 9s, you're not going to sink a lot of those, but you'll do a little bit in practice. But all of a sudden, because 9 is getting close, 6 has a much more strong and visual context, you start sinking 6-footers more effectively. That's the promise.
Well, you look at the PGA Tour statistics, which we look at lots of times in our school, and it seems like after 5 feet, as you go outside of 5 feet, the numbers drop off dramatically.
It's very true. Absolutely.
You know,
6 foot, 54%.
Yeah, you know, it's Only from 4 feet and in, you get these guys that are up there in the high 90s, and there's few of them. And then, surprisingly enough, from 30 feet, they're only converting 2 out of 100. They're lucky to be 2%.
There you go. It's very true.
You know,
okay, I don't want to make this video too long, so let's just...
Where do you want to go next?
You start with the mechanic wheel, you work into assisted to unassisted putting, to the circle drill, and go to the S drill. So now let's work. Oh, that's what it looks like. There you go. There's a good context of what the actual product looks like. And the flag stick actually comes up out of the hole, so it moves the ball with you. So it pulls them right out for you.
Fantastic.
So you don't have to reach underneath. Can you just click on, oops, slide up a little bit. There, oh, too far. Just down below the picture here. On the right-hand side it says perfect two-putt. And below that it says golf course page. Can you click on the golf course page for me?
Sure.
And we'll do a quick synopsis of the perfect two-putt. Now, this slide down here, this is about the new technology. This is how I like to describe it to folks. Oops, go up just a bit. Oops, sorry. I confused you there, my fault. Up a little higher. Wrong direction, you're going down. Need you to go up. There, stop right here. The 2 flag sticks. That's a dumb flag stick. We all have smartphones. We know what a smartphone's like. And what's special about a smartphone? It does so many functions. Well, in my opinion, we have dumb old flag sticks. And if we're going to assist our golfer and allow them to improve, to perfect their game and want to play more often because they're lowering their score, we use a smart flag stick, which is what I've considered the X36 Pro Putt Trainer. And when you use a smart flag stick, slide on down now, you get this, you know, great results. A perfect circle drill every time. It takes 40 seconds to set up, literally. I mean, it's just done. And then you can start with that and do all sorts of different patterns. But let's get on to the perfect two-putt now. And what we're going to talk about here is this product here. And what's important here is that people generally are not going to walk off their distances. They'll throw a couple of balls down and say, I'm done. And that's not practice, you know. You know, just because I threw 3 balls down doesn't make it effective. But so what I needed to do is make something that's constant. Because Jim, you're going to step totally different than me. George, you're going to step different than Bobby. And we have to add something constant. So the first thing I did was create a system that is, number one, a standard length. So each spike is 10 foot apart. And then on the webbing itself, there's a little black marker that shows the 5-foot indicator. So it's 60, 55, 50, 45, and so forth. Okay, can you slide down a bit for me?
Sure.
Okay, now the next thing. How many times have people said they're going to throw the ring around the cup? Well, if you actually have a cloth ring, I'm sorry, especially with a stemp 12, you're going to affect the path of the ball. Period, end. You're going to hit it. I don't care if it's a leaf, a blade of grass, it changes the direction of the ball. So I wanted to do something that was totally, didn't have to paint the green, didn't have to throw anything on the green, but still gave me my measurement. So I built a grid. So you literally putt into the grid. And then the black, the white, and the yellow, they're all 1-foot indicators. And I make them colorful so you understand the yellow is a 3-foot indicator or a 5-foot indicator. And you can always tell, walk up to the ball, you're 3 foot to the left, and you're 3 foot short. And you can score that on our scorecard. So those are the type of things that really avail to you quickly. Visually, you see the distance variance, which is that it's not just I missed the putt, but what'd you miss it by? Then how do I correct to that? That's the important thing about detection and correction. You have a goal or an aim. Next one. There we go. So this is, this is what the product looks like in use. So that putter back there is around the golfer's around 20 feet, and you putt into the grid. So the webbing past the hole is 6 feet, and in this configuration, it's 3 foot either side. So again, you can set up a ladder drill. You can do the 2-foot safety drill where you would bring the actual cross cord there, move it 2 feet past the hole, and then this gives you your border for wanting to know you must hit past 2 feet past the hole. Or you can leave it there and know that you're going to mark it past the hole by 2 feet because you have the indicator. You can also do what I call the Nicholson drill, what he has in his DVDs. He talks about the 60, 40, 50 drill. That's how he finishes up his long-distance putting. So he does 3 or 4 putts at 60 feet, walks into 40, then goes back to 50. Well, we do that a little variance. We do that differently. Or we do, sometimes I do a 60-10, because that's a huge variance in your stroke. And then we end up at 30. And then you can do it. You can do staggers in so many different ways that allow you to really get a feel and a dynamic. And then, of course, you can do it as a straight ladder drill. You can do a compass drill on this product. You can do all sorts of different types of drills as well. So the perfect two-putt, being product-driven, you're able to actually score the results, and you can actually baseline and get yourself better. So those are the two products and how they work together.
Now, what I was saying, I know you say you're coming out with a chipping, but I would very easily use this for chipping as well. I just have to start it right where I want my landing area.
Correct. That's
because
true.
we chip to a point, you know, like right over here, a little bit where the end of your,
yep.
You know, I would say we want to chip to here, and then we want the ball rolling the rest of the way, like a putt.
Right. When you add the second part to the product, it's you make it 60 feet in length. It's awesome. It's great for chipping. It's absolutely great for chipping. We're just going to make a larger one that's going to be 25 yards in length, so 75 feet, that you can actually take off the green. It's designed for the extra length and so forth. So you're putting 14 yards or 20 yards or whatever off the green. You have your landing area and you roll into the grid. So that's when the chipping design is the same design, just a bigger product, and that's going to come out next year.
Well, meanwhile, we'll use it like that right here. I'm really excited about using it in this year's school.
Well, excellent. I think it'll be great for your program, and I think that hopefully your people will like it, because having the visual aid, it's not only you know, rewarding to see it, but it's motivational. And there's so many things you can see with it and correct with it, because the actual tether gives you guidelines, and you can actually respond to immediately knowing really accurate distances and how you performed.
Yeah, it gives a lot of the guys that we have, and ladies, a method to practice. You know, because no matter how much we try and knock it in their head exactly how they should do this, they get distracted, and they start rolling some balls around, talking to a friend. This way, if they've got a little system to run through, they'll do the same thing every time. They're going to get better. Absolutely.
Can you do me one last thing? On the top of the website, right by my logo, it says the X36 putting program.
Right.
On the top here. No, actually in the black bar above where my logo is, there it says the X36 putting program. There you go. Click there. Just give it a quick show and tell what the this is one of our programs. You slide down a little further, and actually it actually looks like a spreadsheet. There we go. And this is what the program looks like. So we actually tell you week 4 of the putting drill, you do the 3-foot circle drill 3 times a week if you can.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Putts.
That's great.
We actually, and this is what we want to do about self-directed training. We're going to give you what you need to do. Okay, if you can give us the time, we're going to give you the results, and this is what you can do. And then, of course, Jim will have his, James will have his, and then Bobby will have his. And you guys modify this for what you need and want to do. And at that point, you get the ability to modify something like this and go to scoring. So can you go to the tracking sheet? It's just in the gray, just above there, tracking sheet. There we go. And let's click on the X36 Pro Putt Trainer.
Do we get some of these cards with the unit we purchased, or does it? No,
you just download it here.
Okay, I got you.
And you can just print them off on your printer.
And we're going to hook you up with our website, and we're going to send a copy of this out to all our gang, and highly recommend to them that they get one of their own, because after they've used it in the school too, they're going to say, geez, I want one for me. I mean,
yeah.
You really, I mean, and it comes in a nice little bag, right, that you can carry around with your golf clubs and everything. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It'll fit in the sleeve of your golf club bag.
There you go. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, this is. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Did you introduce this at the PGA show?
We were there this year with the Golf Around the World. Mm-hmm. And I was there with Dane Wyron, who's the president, and we put the product in the new product section this year. And so we had a little bit of interest there, and that's how we sort of introduced it. But I didn't have a booth there this year. I hope to have a booth next year.
Wow, this is pretty neat.
Okay, so you can close out of this close your PDF here.
Okay.
And the last thing I want to show you is how that works a little bit. If you can go to the X36 Pro Putt Trainer page in the gray area. Oops.
Is that the wrong one? Sorry.
Yeah, wrong one, yep. Just higher, in the gray area on the left, it says the X36 Pro Putt Trainer. Perfect. You got it.
There we go.
Now we're going to scroll right down to the bottom of the page. This takes a little second to load here. It's going to go horizontal in a second. It just depends on how fast it loads. With the webinar, it's taking a bit.
I'm going to tell you, right now, Jim's loaded already. That's why he hadn't said much. He just...
If we slide to the bottom, I'll show you how the scoring works. Let's go to the bottom of the page. Yeah, those are all the videos. You can right there, right here. These are these pictures, a little higher. A little higher. Here we go. Now, if you click on each one of those little pictures down below, the little square on the left, the pattern changes and it shows you the ball position. Just click on it. See how the ball pattern on the right is? So on your left, you'll see the 3-footers. You have 4 3-footers. That's on the inner ring of the orange ball. And then there you go. You're on a 4x4 on the 3-footers. So that's how the ball placement is, or how you score your sheet. So that's how you would make your pattern.
I got you.
So, right. So this is how that works. So you can
and you can track your results, so you see whether you're getting better.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. If you, I think it's scrolling up a little bit. I'll show you how to score.
And you know what you need to do is monitor, are you better from a right to left putt or a left to right putt?
Exactly, and that's what we have on the bottom left here. Oh, scroll, you had it right. Right there. Can you just, my view is a little tiny. Oh, I got to go above that.
There?
No, scroll down. You're in the video section. We go down and keep going. See how to track your score right here. Okay, now there's the bottom. Okay, so, oops, too far. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about this area in here?
Yeah, right here. Okay, this is the area. If you scroll up just a little bit, then you'll see where it says the score sheet shows the scores for the round. So you'll see where there's a 1 indicated. So on the bottom left, like at 8 o'clock, you have a 1 and 1 and 1. Well, he missed those putts. Where there's no mark on the sheet, it's blank, so you scored 0 or you made the putt. If you miss, you score the 1. So if you look in the bottom left, you'll see round 1, he missed 3. Round 2, he missed 2. Round 3, he missed 3. So he actually made 5, made 6, made 5. And the slope is level, and so I didn't put a break on it. But yeah, I indicate that so you can do a slope on it. And when you have a slope, remember you're putting around a circle, so you would designate a primary slope area. So if your primary slope was at 9 o'clock, you could indicate that here, primary, or just write on it in the note section that the downhill was slant left. And then you'd know how you're working in breaks. And there's all sorts of details you can get into with this type of product, and the ability to actually modify it to terrain is just second to none.
Dynamite.
And that's it, gentlemen. I think I've covered everything for you.
Colin, you did fantastic, buddy. I just hope all our shenanigans didn't drive you crazy. I mean, we have a good time over here and try to keep it light. And your presentation was just right on. Let's see if some of the guys have a question real quick before we let you run off here. Let's see. Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, Bobby, what's up?
So what do you think, buddy? You took a look at this. How'd you like it?
I like it. God knows we all need to putt better.
Well, it's like he says, which is true. I mean, that's, why like in a football game, why be good up to the red zone and then you don't get it in the end zone?
Exactly.
So I say, so you hit it, you get the ball in the green, but you 3-jack it. I mean, what's the difference? You might as well hit it like a dog. What's the difference?
Yeah.
You got to get the ball in the hole.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to using that at the end of the month up at Pendleton.
I'm telling you, you're going to want to get one after we try it. You'll like it. You can practice this anywhere. And that's another thing. You can go to a practice putting green. They usually don't charge you a dime. It's free. But
sorry to interrupt. I just used this 2 springs ago at Darrell.
You did?
On their Darrell. Yep. It wasn't during the competition, but I just walked up there. I was down there in April 2 years ago, and walked out on Darrell. Set up both my products actually. I left the green. I asked the gentleman if I could leave the products up. He said, sure, no problem. I went and got a drink, came back, continued my putting practice. He had no issues with it. So again, they build you your practice putting green so you can practice putting. So if you put 2 clubs down to do a lane drill or the pencil or whatever else, you're still occupying a hole during that time period that your product's being utilized. So you can just drop this in the cup, pull out the tethers, in 20 minutes do a really, really good putting, and then walk away and put the other flag back in, and you're set to go.
Fantastic. All right, partner Colin, it was a pleasure. I'll send you a copy of all this, and hopefully we'll get a chance to meet each other soon sometime, and we'll be in contact, and we're going to get this pumped out to everybody, and I can't wait to get mine, open it up, take some pictures of us using it, and hurl those pictures around our gang.
Well, that'd be great, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I certainly appreciated the invitation and enjoyed giving you the presentation tonight. The
best one we've had yet, don't you think, Jim?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, thank you, Colin.
No, thank you, Jim, very much, and George and the rest. If you have any further questions, just get to Bobby. He'll answer everything, and then if you need any further information, we didn't go through it tonight, but there's videos on the website you can use that can help you understand the product and how to do the drills correctly.
Yeah, I already took a couple of them and put them on our site. So,
excellent.
All right, partner. Watch out for the cold.
Yeah, there you go. Happy golfing.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
See ya.